Alright, turn 4. We'll roll to see what reinforcements we get for this side. 4 dice, 4 better. Only 2 reinforcements. So, on a 1, we'll get the last of the light horse. On a 2 or 3, we'll start getting the foot troops on. And on a 4 to 6, we'll still get more peasants. So 2 to roll, and we're going to get 2 units of peasants coming on. Let's see what direction. 1, 2. Well, let's see, with the peasants, they could be coming from almost anywhere. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if we get a 6, they'll be coming from the edge from the same side as basically the enemy is coming in. They just avoided them and worked around them. So we did get a 6 and we did get a 1. So they're going to be coming in from opposite sides. As far as the already on board forces, these guys are going to shoot as possible. They cannot shoot over the heads of their cavalry, so they won't be able to do anything. The cavalry, having seen their guys get kind of picked to pieces by archers, even though they're up against a superior force, they're going to go ahead and charge and see if they can get some of these light infantry archers to flee. This group is probably just going to move up and will go from column to line. That'll take up their whole turn. And then the 2 additional units will come on from this side and that side. For this side, they're still trying to get onto the battlefield. I have changed these markers out between turns because I didn't want that. I was using the same marker for indicating that they could participate in melee as I was using for fatigue before. I didn't want to use the same ones and get confused. So they've each taken place in 1 melee, and then we have the movement markers. This group is probably going to sit and let their movement markers dispel. And this group, they'll probably all do the same. They'll probably sit, these guys will shoot, and this group right here probably will basically move forward to the gap. Actually, they're gonna, you know what? They're gonna left face and move in behind the heavy cavalry to try to give some room for the foot troops to maneuver when they come in. So that's going to take their first move. I'll do them last. Let's see. Movement is really not going to change much since most of these guys aren't moving. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do their full moves since they're not going to be... Well, no, I'll do half moves because these guys right here may have something to say about it. Alright, so let's see. And by these guys, I mean this group of... peasants coming in. Let's see, half a move. See here, they move. They're light infantry, they move 9. So half a move will be bringing them onto the battlefield, essentially here. So they come in right on top of the heavy cavalry and stop short halfway. So they'll take a shot from there if they can. I let them freely activate since they weren't on the battlefield yet, but now they're... And these guys will be coming in on... I'm going to go ahead and initiate this charge. So they would get 30. So they can get all the way to the table edge if they need to. So we're going to initiate the charge. Actually, halfway will be... Yeah, so they're going to hit these guys right before they get halfway. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the morale roll. I think I did the pass-through fire first. But I'm going to do the morale roll first for these guys, because if they break and flee, they're not going to get a shot off. Alright, so Lightfoot, if they want to withstand the charge of light cavalry, they have to roll an 8 or better on 2d6. So we're going to do them. Nope. And we're going to do them. Also nope. So we will have these guys do their fire, their split fire, because they were not being charged, so they were not affected by the charge. And these guys, let's see here, do they have a shot? Well, they're doing, part of their move is a left face, so they're not looking in the right direction as the charge happens. So yeah, let's finish the movement. So they do their right face. That's a half move. So they're facing that way for their half of their move. These guys weren't moving. That was going to bring the next group on. They will be coming from this direction. And they can move 12, I believe, on the road. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them in on the edge. Since they're on the battlefield, they'll have to activate to do anything else. So they're going to come on like that. Coming up the road. And yeah, because anything else will cost at least half a move, so they'll, but they see the army and they pause, they freeze. So that's all the movement. None of these guys are going to move. These guys can't move. Alright, so we'll leave them in place for now. So these two failed morale. They've got to retreat 1.5 moves to the back of the enemy, which of course is going to put them right into, it's going to take them right off the edge of the table. But now we have to see what happens to these guys. I need to check the rules on that. Oh boy, we're getting deep in the rules on this one. Okay, so these guys were forced to flee. If you retreat into a friendly unit, which these two will, then that means that both the retreat stops, but both groups must spend the next turn rallying. Now, if a routed unit turns, which is with backs to the enemy, which is what they are, makes contact with a friendly troops, then is if routing unit contacts any friendly troops, it will cause them likewise to rout, and rallying is necessary. Now, the Swiss units are normally immune to the rout caused by being charged by cavalry, but they're not routing because of cavalry charge. They're routing because they were just run through by routed units. And in turn, they're going to rout these units. So what has happened here is this charge, which I undertook just to stop from getting picked to pieces by bowfire. Oh, and I do need to bowfire these guys, but that's the next step. Has created a cascade that all these units have just been routed off the table. And this group, whatever survives them after the bowfire here, will essentially follow them off. So all these units are about to leave the battlefield. If anybody out there watching thinks I got this wrong, please tell me. Okay, I I got most of the way through cleaning up that part of the table before I realized I need to do that bow fire. All right, so they would have fired at basically the 45-degree angle when they were oncoming. So that would give us double line firing that way. And then these guys on the edge could also fire. See, that's about 45 degrees. So I'm going to say the front lines and the side lines will have shots during the course of the unit coming down here. So that's going to give us a total of 16 shots. So a group of 10 and a group of 6. So the group of 10, they're going to do 4 hits. And the group of 6, they're going to do 2 hits. So a total of 6 hits. Ooh, I need to do an instability roll for them before I took all those other guys off the board. Okay. All right, that's why you do things in order, folks. So the instability roll for, because they just got reduced below 25%, they need an 8 or better. And they rolled a 9. So, whoo! That saved me putting all that stuff back on. But these guys are also going to leave. They're basically going to try to clean all that up over there. So they will not be back. All right. So that was a lot that happened. We still got the remainder of the turn to go. We'll finish our move actions. This group is going from column to line. We'll just straighten them up like that. We'll add another movement marker. So they're now at 4 movement markers. This group is going to fire. See, this group, will they continue to move? I'm going to say they're going to stay right there for now and attempt to fire on them on their turn. And this group will also be firing. So this group hidden. Their goal was to move behind the infantry here, the cavalry here, to give them room to shoot over their heads. So they're going to try to get basically that way. So if they move straight, they're going to move about half their movement. So puts them right behind there. So they've got, and I'll let them use the remainder of their move to sort of reorganize here, so that we'll get a good double line all the way around. So everybody will be able to fire in that forward arc. It'll be indirect fire, but it will be fire. We'll dress that up in a little bit. All right, so this group moved, this group moved. So now we'll come to missile fire. So initially, they were going to have to fire at guys under cover, but now they have guys on the road, so they're going to shoot at them. So there's no cover there. And so it'll be the front group. So 12 shots, which will have to be changed to 10 and 2. So the group of 10 gets 4 casualties. The group of 2 gets none. So 4 casualties. And now we will have to roll and see if these groups can fire. Well, first let's check and see if they're in range. that group, none of that group is in range. I'm going to say none of it is in range. I think the one on the edge might be, no, 18 inches. They need to be at least 18, or 18 centimeters in this case. All right, this group. All right, so from there, they start being in range. The ones in the back don't get in range until, we're just going to say they're not in range. So those 5 guys can fire. These 4 fired the last turn, I believe. That's when we had the marker. So that'll be a group of 5. This will be 11. Well, actually, the arbiters, you go differently. You roll for each, and on a 5 or a 6 at this extreme range, you're going to get a hit. So this will be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, because the 2 front ranks can fire. Basically, these are probably kneeling. And then this group, how close are they? They might have a better chance to hit. They are all in the 6 to 12 inch range. So these guys will have a better chance of hitting. So we'll have, but first I have to roll to see if they're even going to fire, because they're peasants. So to attack, Lightfoot, they need a 6 or more. I'm not sure if that's actually supposed to apply for missile fire. I think that's mainly for melee range, but that's the rule, so that's what we're going to follow. So this group, 6, got it. This group, 9, got it. This group, 11, got it. So they're all going to fire. So we've got our 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13, they need a 5 or 6 to hit. I've got 7 dice here. No hits in that group. 6 more. 3 hits in that group. This group only needs 4 or 6 to hit. So we'll get 12 of those. So that's 4. That's 3 hits. So we've got 6 hits so far. Gather up some more dice. That's more hits. And we got 4 more. Let's see. Get some more dice here. That's 3. And that's 4. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 hits on these guys. So that's almost half the unit. But before we figure out any morale or anything, they're doing their shots. Oh, they already did their shots. Alright, so mark some firing here. There we go. See, the second group fired, so we'll mark that second group there. So this group, the 4 on this group will have reloaded by now, so they're about to fire next turn. Now they have to do, well, let's check. Light infantry, Lightfoot, instability, they check at 25%. So they need an 8 or better. Oop. And they did not get it. Any unit that makes the required score is removed from battle. So they're gone too. So a good portion of the invading army got wiped out. And another portion got... And then I need to do this section over here. So front 2 ranks can fire if they activate. And this time they are attacking heavy cavalry. So that is an entirely different... They need a 12 to attack. And they do not. So yeah, that's the turn. Because these guys over here are facing the wrong way. No? Yes. They're in half move. They moved and then distributed. So they used all their movement and they're facing that way. And that's more than 45 degrees. So they do not have a shot on them. So that's turn 4 with only 2 units of the attackers left on the field. Wow. Alright, turn 5. A couple of changes I made here. I changed out these markers to represent melee because I was using the fatigue markers for that before. I added a movement marker to this unit since they moved last turn. And I reorganized this unit because I realized what I was trying to do with them was a formation change. That takes a full move. So they are still facing in that direction and still in this formation. So now we need to figure out what kind of reinforcements we're going to get over here. It's turn 5, so we're 5 or less, and I'm going to roll 5 dice, so they could get a lot of reinforcements here. Alright, so 2 6s, so not quite as many reinforcements as you would expect. A 1, that'll be the light foot. A 3, that'll be one of the peasant units that's left. And 4, that'll be one of the levy units. So coming in 1 2 3 4 5 6 for the light horse. Light horse will be coming in down here. For the levy unit, same. On 4, they'll be coming over here. And then the peasant unit, they could come in anywhere. So we'll say 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 2, they'll be coming in from that direction. So they'll be coming in from the roads from every direction. As for movement for the units on the board, this unit is going to reform from essentially column to line. They're going to realign so that they're two deep facing in this direction. That'll take their full move. This group is not going to move to try to get rid of their fatigue, because if they charge or if they attack, they'll be fatigued. And if this group charges, they'll be fatigued, so they'll be, even though by them standing still, they will participate in the first round of battle as one quality unit less. They'll be counted as medium horse instead of heavy horse. They're going to drop down from light horse to armored foot because they'd be fatigued if they charge. And for basically the same reason, this group is not going to move as well. These groups will attempt to sweep forward, but they will of course have to roll to activate to see if they can move. And this group is going to stay put and try to fire again. Well, they were unsuccessful at firing, so what they'll probably do instead is I'm going to have them try to move up the hill, because from the top of the hill they could potentially fire over the heavy cavalry to hit the archers, since they would have a harder time activating to fire on them. But they'll also have to roll to activate. So all these need to roll 7 or better to activate to move. So we'll start with them. They can move. They can move. They can move. They can move. And they cannot move. So we'll go ahead and move this first group. So they have a movement of 12 since they're light foot. Take that back. Light foot is 9. Why did I think they were 12? I guess because the Swiss are 12. Okay. Alright, so they move 9. This counts as rough going, so it'll be half move. But first they're going to wheel. Two inches, part of that was rough going, so that'll be 3 inches their movement. So they will have 6 left, but 3 of those, but they'll be down to 3 because they're in rough terrain. So they're going to go to there. And this group will do the same. We get the full wheel here. And then they'll get 4 inches till they hit the roof. So they'll have 3 left, so 1.5. So 6.5. So to there. And then this group, they'll have about the same, or less. And finally this group, they're going to have to move forward to clear the cavalry before they can wheel. But once they wheel, they'll be able to move a full move. But let's check the range at about their half move point. So they move 6. So let's move them back. They move 4. Let's see, they wheeled, they moved 4, they moved 2, wheeled 2, moved 2. So they can move one more half during this half a move if they're going to fire. Well, they'll fire at the end of their movement. So let's see. In potential, no potential. Well, they're going to be using their full move, so no potential for pass-through fire at the halfway mark. So we'll just go ahead and move them the rest of their full move, and they will attempt to fire at the end, but that's going to take multiple rolls for them. And they did have 5 units that fired last turn. So they can't move. So now we'll bring the other units on. All right, so we've got the light horse coming in back here. Be able to move up to 30 inches on the road, so they can move pretty far. I'll move them all the way up to essentially where the other cavalry is. Let's get some movement markers here. All right, so that's their second move, their first move, their first move, their first move. I believe we said they had 2 moves coming in. And then these guys are going to move as they change formation. We'll basically change their formation like this. And now they're facing this way. And then we'll bring in our first levy. It will also be coming in column. Verify that levies, they count as heavy foot. So they will be coming in 9 up to 12. So essentially up to there. And then finally the peasants coming in. They also can be in up to 12. Use one of these to mark the spot, and then so let's roll and see if they'll get any further than the edge before they falter. 7 or better to finish the move. No. So they're going to come in on the edge, realize they're in a battle situation. Well, let's see here. Behind the hill, they won't see the enemy. So, yeah, we'll have them move their full move. Well, just not too in front of the... I'll fix that momentarily. All right, this goes back here. I get 2 movement markers since they've been on the march. Well, they're peasants coming in from the way, so we'll just count that as 1 the way we did with those others. But these guys will get 2. Okay, there's not going to be any melee here, but we have the potential for some fire, missile fire, if the peasants can successfully activate, and potentially from the longbowmen, some indirect fire. So the longbowmen have a range of up to 21. They could target there, and they could target there, up to about 45 degrees. So let's see here. 45 degrees, that would be about there. They could probably get half and half, essentially. So, say 12 firing that way and 10 firing this way. And then the arquebusiers, they would have to roll to activate. They would have to roll a better die than them, and they would have to roll to attack. So let's see. Up to 18. See, the front rank fired, most of the front rank fired except for 1. So they can get 2 rows firing if they successfully activate. And this group can get, well, let's see, they would be mainly firing for the front rank, so they're not going to be able to fire, and these are too far away, and they're behind the hill and facing in the wrong direction. So to attack heavy horse, they need a 12. So for this group, no. For this group, no. Close, but no. And this group can fire but no. So none of them will be able to fire. So we'll just have the fire from the indirect fire from the longbows against here and here. So indirect fire classifies these groups as from unarmored to armor and shield. So potential for fewer casualties that way. I've been splitting them up wrong. I thought if you had more than 10 in a group and you split them, you split 10 and then whatever was left, you split them into equal groups. So this group of 12 will be 2 groups of 6. And they will need, well, rolling the dice doesn't have any effect. They just do 2 casualties, period. So they're going to take 2 casualties over there. And this group, they have 10 firing at them, so that's a full group. And rolling dice doesn't have any effect on that. They're going to take 3. So 2 casualties there, 3 casualties there. So 2 and 3 come off here. And that is that is it, because they haven't taken sufficient casualties to check morale. There is no melee, and all that's left is to clean off some of these markers. Since none of these groups fired, these can go. And these guys didn't move, and these guys didn't move. So the move markers come off. And these guys have blundered there. They have effectively blocked that group. And so this could go very wrong very fast. Just like it did for this group over here.